So the US government is about to introduce another $1 trillion in stimulus. That is according to multiple reports. But I want to address one thing. The other day I said there was going to be stimulus for everybody, and I stand by that. Because according to experts, if the US government unlocks this potentially trillions of dollars in stimulus for the American people, it's only going to benefit one group. Those are homeowners. However, the US government would then start to unlock other provisions, other programs that would bring additional stimulus to more Americans. This includes renters, the elderly, low-income earners, and people like that. So I want to address that in today's video because I got a lot of questions the other day saying, why would you say stimulus to all when it's not going to be stimulus to all because not everybody owns a home? Well, we're going to address that in today's video because, again, according to many experts, they say that if this program does go through, which it is most likely going to go through, well, expect stimulus for all very soon. So I'll address that in just a moment. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So a few weeks ago, we learned that we are going to see Freddy Mack try to get into the secondary mortgage market. What this means is that the U.S. could actually give homeowners about $980 billion in stimulus at no additional cost to the U.S. government. Well, I want to touch on that for a second because that was big news. That Freddy Mack could be getting into the secondary mortgage market, which means you could actually turn and go and get a secondary mortgage. You can go get a HELOC, right? And they would be the ones that would buy that debt. They'd service that debt. That's huge. And the one reason why is because right now banks are a little hesitant to go and give somebody a secondary mortgage. Go and give somebody money and take the equity from their home. Right? They don't want to do that. We don't want another 2007, 2008 financial crisis on our hands. But what I want to bring to your attention is, yes, this program would only benefit those that have a home, that have equity in their home. For instance, your home is worth $400,000, yet you only have a mortgage of $200,000. Theoretically, if you go up to 80% of the home's value, you could get $120,000 out. That would be huge. That would be a massive stimulus. But a lot of people are asking, why do you say stimulus to all? Well, it's because of multiple reasons. Now, if you remember when all these people were getting stimulus checks during the pandemic, okay, here's what happened if you don't remember. The federal government was out there sending, hundreds of, actually millions of people stimulus checks. They'd get, there's a check for $1,400. There's a check for $1,200. There's a check for, $600 or whatever it was, right? They were sending out checks left and right. They were also, and this was another stimulus, for people that were working or previously working and then went and got on unemployment during the beginning of the pandemic. They got an extra, I believe, $400 or $500 per week? That was an extra stimulus. You got your actual benefit, your unemployment insurance amount, plus you got an additional, $400 or $500 a week in additional payments to help you through those tough times. Many people simply waited to get laid off from their job so they can make an extra $400 or $500 a week. That's what happened. And the crazy part about this is, for many people, they were making more on unemployment than they were working for their actual job. That was huge. That was a massive, massive change. But here's what's going on now. There is one group that didn't get a lot of stimulus. You know why? Because they got it for themselves. But what about their children? The problem is their children were kind of moved on. They had their own families. They were not dependents anymore. This was people that were 45 years old, 65 years old, people on Social Security. They didn't need it. Or that's what the government said. But guess what? The Biden administration, they came out and they provided some additional assistance and some more stimulus to that group. And that's exactly why I'm bringing this to your attention now, is because we are going to see pretty much more benefits for the elderly. For instance, just years ago, what happened? Insulin prices had to be capped for millions. Insulin prices are capped at $35. Previously, there was no cap on insulin. You also know that for prescription medications, that now there's a cap. If you spend, was it $2,000 a year? There's a cap on that. That is huge. So the Biden administration came out and they said, you know what? We need to provide additional benefits to this group, to the elderly. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to reduce their expenses. We're not going to increase their benefits. We're just going to reduce their expenses. That's it. Again, additional stimulus. What about for low income earners? Well, here's something that did go on. Okay, we found out years ago, and this was something that I talked about multiple times on the channel over the past few years, was that the Biden administration was worried about the food insecurity of certain families, of children and people that were just struggling. So what the Biden administration decided to do, and lawmakers decided to do, was they passed a bill that would allow all families. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you made, but if you had a family of 5, for instance, you got a maximum SNAP benefit amount. You didn't have to qualify, you just got the maximum amount. That was it. You had a family of 2 or 3 or 4 or 9. You got the maximum amount that SNAP was able to give you. That went on for a while. Guess what? It was more stimulus. Instead of handing you a stimulus check and saying, you know what, you guys are struggling, here's an extra $400 this month. No, they just put it right on your SNAP benefit account. That was it. But what about lower income families? What about people that don't own a home and aren't able to get that stimulus? Well, guess what? They have stuff for renters as well. They had rental forgiveness, right? Where you could actually go or pretty much forbearance, or you didn't have to make a payment for so many months and your landlord couldn't kick you out. That could happen again. But here's something that they are doing. Look at this. This was just announced yesterday. It says the Biden-Harris administration announces $5.5 billion in grants for affordable housing, community development, and homeless assistance to drive economic growth. $5.5 billion. Again, it's not the most, but they're going to do it through about 2,400 grants. This could mean someone's going to build more affordable housing. Guess what? If you have more affordable housing, that means prices for you are likely going to go down. So the reason why I said there's stimulus for all is because if this program goes through, which it likely will, and it will provide homeowners with the ability to take out a secondary mortgage, guess what? There will be stimulus for all. It's going to come in different ways though. So experts say to be prepared because that is just around the corner. So I will leave you with that, but just understand that when I said stimulus for all, I wasn't meaning people are going to be able to pull money out of an apartment building that they do not own. I'm saying that there will be other benefits coming your way if this one program goes through. So, again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for asking those questions and asking me to clarify that, which hopefully this does. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.